Hello and welcome to Say Yes to You and Why You Don't. I'm Claudia Braun, holistic mindset and lifestyle coach for busy professional women who are great at saying yes to others, but when it comes to themselves, not as good. So today I want to talk about these things that you're not allowed to say yes to you about. And if you do, you feel guilty. So I was thinking about sessions I've had with clients and things that they've discovered about themselves and things that I know that I have learned about myself. And so I want you to start considering what on this list applies to you. It's not okay to just get angry with somebody without feeling there must be something wrong with me that I feel angry. So here's the thing about anger. Anger is an indicator something with us has gotten stirred up. And it is a huge opportunity to tune into ourselves and find out what has gotten stirred up. Problem about this not allowing yourself to get angry is that when you feel the anger, frequently it's either a lash out at somebody and then feel guilty or regret it, or push it down. But either way, it does not help you get to what is the root of it. So all of these emotions within us have a place. And the place is the teacher of what do we need to learn from this? So, example, I have a client who her husband's out of town, she's taking care of her kids, and she started to feel really angry and kind of resentful that he was gone, even though she understood it was exactly what they needed. He needed to be out of town, he needed to be doing this business. It's really good for their family. But inside, she was feeling resentful. And she didn't really want to be resentful because she'd already prepared for it and she knew it was coming and she felt like she should be okay with it. So then she just ended up feeling more and more pissed off and didn't want to take his phone calls. So together, what she was able to get to was what was underneath the anger and what it was keeping her from really coming to know. So when we do this kind of blanket, I shouldn't be angry, I shouldn't be resentful, I shouldn't feel bad about this, we don't get to get the lesson. My mom has this thing that women take care of men. So you got to know where my own your yes, own your no comes from, right? So whenever a person who's not a female comes into the house and they need something, want something, the person who is the female in the house is the person who should be taking care of it because that's how she operated. This used to make me really irritated because that's not how I perceive things to be. So my teacher within this opportunity for me to see that that doesn't work for me. When I operate out of a system that's not in alignment with who I am, it's going to cause a ripple in me. So knowing my yes and knowing my no helps me know what I want to say yes to and what I don't want to say yes to. So another area that I work with my clients around is this asking for what they want. So many times we can get pushed into thinking it's selfish to ask for what you want. They should either know or it's better to not know. And it's being overly opinionated to know what you want. What do you want? I don't know. A common response. You may know what you want, but you don't want to let yourself admit what you want, or what you want may not be what you think that other person wants you to want. And again, right, it goes back to that little kid thing. Maybe as a kid, you knew exactly what you wanted because most little kids do. But perhaps you were raised in a place where your parents, schools, churches, religious institutions were like, you don't really want that. You should want something else. So when I was a kid, my mom's family was in a business where they sold toys and notions and things like that. And I was given the opportunity to get this really big doll or get this makeup set. And my aunt said to me, which one do you want? Well, I wanted the makeup set because I liked to paint and I liked crafting and I liked color and I liked to play with anything, with things like that. I liked to put things together. And the doll looked kind of boring to me. I was like, well, what am I going to do with a doll? So I said, I want the makeup set. And they said, don't you want the doll? I didn't want the doll. And they're like, you should want the doll. But that's not what I wanted. So I got the makeup set and then they decided to give me the doll anyway because they thought that's what I should have. But when you internalize this idea that you shouldn't know what you want or what you want isn't in agreement with what somebody else wants, you can get talked out of believing that what you want is actually what you want. And then you begin to get confused about, what do I really want? So again, it's such a powerful teacher because what you want is within you. And when we're programmed to think we don't know what we want and somebody else knows better, school system, religious institution, social media, you should want this because it's popular, because other people are doing it. Maybe it doesn't fit with you, but you say yes because that's what everybody else is doing. But then you end up not feeling good. So knowing what you want is really important and really okay. I was dating somebody and he was a meat eater and ate very traditionally, and I don't. I'm not a meat eater and I don't eat traditionally. And it was very, in his mind, very inconvenient that I didn't want to go eat a hamburger, that I didn't want to go to a popular place, but I didn't. And hence the rub. So sometimes eating can be inconvenient. Well, it's personal choice. You get to have it, even if somebody else doesn't think that's a good idea or isn't what they want. Which brings me to another thing you might have issue with is inconveniencing people. This is another thing that I notice with my clients is that they don't want to ask for what they want because it's inconvenience. It might inconvenience somebody else to ask for what they want, to ask to get their needs met. They might have to ask somebody and they don't want to put somebody else out. So here's the thing. Inconveniencing somebody else is a perception. If the other person feels inconvenienced, doesn't want to support you, doesn't want to assist you, that's okay. They don't have to. But you may find that somebody actually wants to assist you and is happy to be inconvenienced for you. And so many times we don't ask for what we want because we don't want to put somebody out, inconvenience them. But here's what I know is that people who really care about you, care about us, if they can help you, they want to. And what I find is that my clients don't want to inconvenience somebody. So they don't ask for what they need. And then they end up feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, resentful, when I could have asked that person, and the person might have been very willing to say yes. So I had a client who her husband liked to play soccer, and he would always make arrangements to go play soccer with his friends, and he had it all set up. And my client was very accommodating to her husband. And then when she wanted to go to a yoga class, it seemed like he wasn't as supportive. So she stopped asking him to support her to take her yoga classes. You can imagine she started to feel a bit resentful. She's supporting him to play his soccer games, to go out with his buddies, to play soccer. And what she came to realize through our work together was he didn't understand her need to do yoga. He didn't understand that she needed his support to do this. She made it seem like it was negotiable, that it wasn't really that important. She could do it or not do it. And so in his mind, well, if it's not that important, I'm not going to support this. And then she started thinking, I'm inconveniencing him and he won't help me and I help him. So you can feel where there's an issue. And through our work together, she was able to realize I'm not really sharing, that I really need this. And I'm not really asking for what I need. And once she did, she found that, oh my goodness, like there's actually space in my life for me and I'm getting my needs met. So where in your life are you telling yourself, I don't want to inconvenience somebody. This would make things really hard for them. I don't want to ask. Because you're not asking is not allowing somebody else to support you. And then it creates a story in your mind. I'm not supported. People don't support me. They don't want me to get my needs met. I have to do it all alone. So you can see how this continues to develop. And it's such an opportunity in these experiences to see where your mind won't let you say yes to you. I am a longtime student of a course, and it says, our life is our classroom. So every situation that comes up in your life, every emotion that comes up in your life is your teacher. And it's up to you whether or not you want to get the lesson. But here's the good news. If you don't get the lesson this time, it's going to come around again. But it's very helpful if we can get the lesson sooner rather than later, so it doesn't knock us out. Because from my experience, the more times it comes up in our life, it gets louder and louder until it becomes a brick over the head. So nice to get it when it's still something that you are conscious of. And you may not be conscious of it initially, but when you start to tune into the emotion, you start to tune into, oh, I don't let myself ask for what I want. I don't let myself potentially inconvenience something. You don't know if it's inconveniencing them until they tell you, I feel inconvenienced, I don't want to do it. And then you can, okay, let me figure this out. Or is there another way we can do it? But it just opens up the conversation to be willing to ask. And so many times we don't want to ask because we label ourselves as selfish, needy. Who am I to get that? Well, who are you not to get that? And especially if it's coming up from you as a genuine desire, like my client, who genuinely wanted, needed the space in her life to do yoga, made her a better mom, it made her a better wife, it made her a better person, it made her happier. And any one of those things has a ripple effect. And usually when we ask for help, people can help us. They're willing to. And if they can't, then there might be somebody else who can. So using it as an opportunity to see what it has to teach you. And the name of this podcast, Say Yes to You and Why You Don't. So do you give yourself permission to say no? Perhaps you're being inconvenienced and it really doesn't work for you. You already have a full day and somebody has asked you to do something. Maybe you are the natural go-to person in your life. Many of my clients are. And so their natural reflex is to say yes. They don't consider the idea that they could say no. They don't give themselves permission to say no because of many things. And usually it's programming. So what is it for you? When you think of saying no to your husband, your mother-in-law, your kids, what comes up? Usually there's a feeling of guilt. Frequently there's a feeling of, I should say yes. They're expecting me to say yes. But allowing yourself to say no truly allows yourself to own your yes. And that's the thing. If you own your yes, you can own your no. So that when you really are saying yes to things you want to do, that means you're going to have to say no to things you don't want to do. And, I tell my clients, and I spoke about this last time, about awareness being the key to change. Well, the second step is acceptance. First step is awareness. The second step is acceptance. So coming into this place of acceptance, what if you accept it's okay to feel the way you feel? It's okay to want what you want. You may or may not get it, but it's okay to want it. And it's okay to say no to things that don't fit for you. And I find that for many of my clients, and I know this has been true in my life as well, saying no to things that I used to say yes to, saying no to things that I know others would wish I would say yes to, is uncomfortable, can be challenging, because it brings up all of our ideas about who we think we should be, or who others think we should be. Again, it goes back to the doll and the makeup. You get to be who you are. If you're somebody who loves dolls, great. If you're somebody who loves makeup, paints, great. You get to say no. And the coolest thing is that when you say no, you notice what comes up inside of you. Do you feel guilty? Do you feel afraid? Do you feel worried? What are they going to say about me? What are they going to think about me? And so then you think, oh, I should change my mind. I should just change it back. I can tell they're not happy with me. So all of these are opportunities for you to see, how does your mind work for you or against you. Many of the things I do with my clients is helping them to identify the way their mind gets in their way, how sabotage gets in their way. And these preconceived ideas about yourself, about who you should be versus who you are going to stop you from being able to own your now, own your yes. So my intention in this podcast, every time we meet together, is to help you truly own your yes so that you can own your no. And there is power in owning your yes, and there is power in owning your no. I have a little reminder on my computer. If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. And that can be hard sometimes because we think, I could probably do this. I could probably make this work. But the truth is, do you want to make it work? And are you giving yourself permission to ask that question? Or are you moving so fast that you don't allow yourself to know what you truly want? When I first worked with my clients, there was a slowing down process of learning to go within. We live in a very externally oriented society. Everything is based on what it looks like on the outside. One of the women that I worked with, we met at a networking event. Beautiful woman, beautiful. On the outside, life sounded perfect. 2 children, business with her husband. Wonderful. But inside, she was really unhappy. She was really depressed. She was not living a life that felt like there was space for her. It looked good. She was the leader of her friends. She had so much that on the outside looked good. So when we're creating a life or the picture of how good it looks, it stops us from being able to go within and find out what we really need. And my intention, my hope here today is that you walk away with these thoughts. Do I let myself feel angry or do I push it down? Is it okay for me to ask for what I want? Or do I tell myself I shouldn't want that? Do I give myself permission to say no? Or I talk myself into it and think, oh, I could do it? Because who else is going to do it? Do I let myself inconvenience somebody? Or do I think, that's really selfish and I can take it? Here's what I know, is that when you don't allow yourself these things, it's like you become the hunchback. All those things accumulate and you carry them with you. And there is a feeling inside that you are dampening your spirit, that there's a feeling that you are not living the life that you were here to live. And you may not know what that is. You just know that what you're doing isn't right. That's a beginning. So today, I hope you will consider, what of these things do I need to look at? Take one. You don't have to do all of it. I always tell my clients, small incremental changes will create a lifetime of change. And that's all it takes. We do not have to tackle everything at once. That is overwhelming and we don't change. And it's why New Year's resolutions don't work, because it's like, take it all in. We have to figure this whole thing out. We got to change this whole, I got to lose all this weight, or I got to start to exercise. I got to go to the gym every day. Got to 10x my business. Everything feels so big. And it's kind of like, I don't know where to start, so I'm not going to start. Small incremental changes will create a lifetime of change. So I say, pick one of these things. What's one of these things that you really feel challenged by in your life? Maybe you push down your anger and you eat it, literally and figuratively. Maybe you won't ask anybody for help and you eat that. Maybe you won't let yourself say no. Whatever the it is, Pick one. And as I said, second step to change, acceptance. Seeing it for what it is acceptance, and you are on the road to change. First step is awareness. So become aware of these things, awareness. Second step, acceptance. Accept it for what it is. Frequently, we don't want to see ourselves, right? We're like, I'm not like that. I don't want to be like that. Acceptance is not resistance. It's not resigning. Acceptance is, I get it. This is me. I tend to want to please people. I tend to not want to inconvenience anybody. I tend to not want to ask for what I want. I tend to like to go along. I want to be easy. I want to be accommodating. Okay, good to know. That doesn't mean that's where you stay. It just means I get it. That's who I am. Actually, it's not who I am. It's who I've been. It's how I've been acting. It's not who I am. Not really sure fully who I am. I'm still figuring that out, and that's okay. Small incremental changes will change your life. I guarantee it. I know it. So today, tell me in the comments, what's the one thing that you are taking away and you're going to examine and play with it all day, all week. Let me know how it goes. I really look forward to hearing because I'm on this journey with you. Small incremental changes will change your life. Guarantee it. It has my clients' lives, does mine. And I continue to change. I continue to learn where I need to say yes to myself. It's an ongoing process, but you have to start. And sitting in the, oh my God, this is so big, don't get you anywhere. You just take small incremental changes. Pick one thing. What's the one thing that feels most glaring to you? I thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for helping me in this process of growth and change to be who you're here to be, to say yes to you, and then find out why you don't. I am Claudia Braun, holistic mindset and lifestyle coach for women who are great at taking care of other people, but not as good at taking care of themselves. I do hope that you will sign up for my 3 strategies to own your yes and own your no. I will put a link at the bottom of this so that you can access it and it will be directly sent to you. Questions, comments, please leave them. And until next time.